What's up, this is GM, and before I start, I want to tell you about TubeBuddy. In case you don't know, TubeBuddy is a free website that will help you manage and grow your YouTube channel. Thanks to them, some of my videos even show up as top results. Want to give them a try? Check the description below for the link.
Today's product is E-Yooso's Z-88 mechanical gaming keyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and move the box out of the way and show you what came inside. So inside of this box, we had the mechanical keyboard itself, really nice compact size. Then we also had a cable, and the beauty of this keyboard is that it works via Bluetooth, wireless USB dongle, or wired through USB. It is a 1.8 meter or 6 feet USB cable, so that is a very nice length as well. So I'll go ahead and move this out of the way. It has a manual in both English and Chinese. And then it also comes with these little things right here. So we have a keycap removal tool. We have a small tool for removing switches as well. And then it also came with 5 extra switches. Nice switches as well. You see we got some blue switches that are nice and clicky. And I'll even kind of press a little bit closer to my mic so you can hear a little bit better. Man, I love that click sound. Honestly, I love the mechanical keyboards with the blue switches. I just think they look so nice and sound so nice as well. All right, so let's go ahead and go over some general info, then going into my thoughts on it with a final pros and cons list. So some general info includes that it is a mechanical keyboard, not mechanical feeling. That is a very big point to make. I've noticed a lot of people who have watched some of my other videos have said, whoa, I thought this keyboard was mechanical, or whoa, I thought this was mechanical feeling. So I want to make sure you know for sure this is mechanical keyboard with blue switches. It has anti-ghosting, 81 keys, and key rollover, allowing multiple keys to work at the same time. Key durability of 50 million clicks, works, as I've already mentioned, via Bluetooth, a USB dongle, or through a wire. It has I don't really know how to say this, honestly, Otumo's hot swappable blue switches, which I know are Cherry MX blue equivalents. It has 14 RGB backlight modes, double shot injection molded keycaps made of ABS and metal with matte finish texture, gold plated USB connector. The dimensions are about 12.2 by 4.84 by 1.4 inches, and it weighs about 1.7 pounds. So it isn't that heavy, honestly. Works on Windows, Macs, Chromebooks, etc. Really any type of device that can use a USB connection. So I want to make a quick note. I don't really know how the battery life is on it. I mostly use it wired. The only time I really need to use a wireless is when I go to travel or if I'm using it on a small desk. I don't really like using wireless when playing video games. There's nothing wrong with that. I personally like to use wired. Sometimes I'll use it wireless, and I'll be talking a little bit more about that a little bit later. But let's go ahead and take a quick look at this keyboard. So one thing I want you to note is that the sides are covered, so you can't see it too well. Some keyboards have that exposed, and that can make a difference on how you remove the keycaps. It can be a little bit harder sometimes to remove certain keycaps when they are covered like this, unless you're using the tool. If you're using the tool, it's no big deal. I personally don't like using the keycap removal tool because it can leave marks sometimes, but if you want to see a video on how to remove keycaps, you can find that on my channel as well. I have a couple on how to remove keycaps, both for this type of keyboard and the ones where you can see the bottom of the keycap as well. But yeah, so that's the sides. I'll go ahead and show this side as well. You can see we had the logo on the front, but here you can see it is elevated as we go up. Oh, there we go, elevated as we go up. And I'll show the other side too. It's the exact same thing, just mirrored. And then here we have the back. As you can see, this is so you can choose if it's off, if you're using the USB dongle, if you're using the Bluetooth. And then over here, we have the connection for a USB-C. And here we have the back. I'll go ahead and lay it down a little bit. As you can see on the bottom right and left, we do have little holes here. Usually these are drainage holes in case you spill liquids. I didn't see anywhere where it said it was waterproof. And not gonna lie, I'm not gonna test if it's waterproof or not. I am going to say though, I'm pretty confident that this should be water resistant or waterproof, because usually whenever I see these types of little holes on them, That's usually drainage holes in case liquids fall in. Don't quote me on that, but if someone happened to have some experience with that, let us know in the comments below. But as you can see, we also have these stands with them flat. That makes 4 rubber kind of padding so it doesn't slip around. Or you can lift them up to raise it even more, and you can kind of see the height difference. Oh, let me turn it this way. And you can see kind of the height difference there. Then might be a little hard to see from that angle, but yeah, it's super sturdy with that because as you can see, or maybe a little hard to see, it also has rubber padding that's actually a little bit nicer than the one that's like right here. I feel like this one's a little sturdier probably because it has a smaller surface area, so they really don't want it to slip around. And as you can see, my whole table is pretty much moving as I'm trying to move it. And then here it is with this, and yeah, my whole table's moving. I'm worried my table's about to break if I keep doing that, so I will stop. Over here, we have the USB dongle for you to plug in. I will say that I like how easy it is to get. I also dislike how easy it is to get because I'm always worried it'll fall out, but it actually stays in place really well because there's a magnet holding in place, and it's not like something will just kind of pull it out on its own. You got to kind of dig your finger in there anyways, so I wouldn't be too worried about losing the USB dongle. Even if you do, the very worst, you can use this wired or Bluetooth. So again, you have a lot of options there. Yeah, so let's go and take a quick look at the front again while I grab the wire, plug it in and all that, and we can take a look then at the lighting. But actually, before we get into that, let me go ahead and do a quick sound test. I'm going to have to take off my mic and bring it a little closer to keyboard so you can hear it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some soft taps and then some presses so you can get an idea of how loud this keyboard is. Keep in mind, blue switches are clicky. You know, they're a little bit more meant for maybe office use rather than gaming purposes. I like to use it for gaming, but you know, that's your own preference. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and bring my mic a little bit closer so you can hear with soft and hard presses. Okay, so before I go into hard presses, I just want to make a couple quick notes. It is very silent with the soft taps. That means these caps aren't too loose on it. The spacebar, I was surprised, is also very quiet. Usually on mechanical keyboards, whenever I do soft taps, the spacebar is actually very loud because it's not connected too well. This one didn't make really any sound. It made the same amount of sound as the smaller keys, or about the same amount of sound. So that's good. So let's go ahead and do some hard taps now so you can get an idea of that. So hopefully you're able to hear that okay. The main thing I want to note about that is, of course, the smaller keys have a slightly different sound than some of the bigger keys, and the spacebar has a completely different sound than all of them. It's not a big deal, you know, it doesn't really matter. I just wanted to let you hear kind of what it sounds like when I do a little bit of typing on it. Of course, that wasn't really typing, it was just kind of tapping, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'll go ahead and get this set up so that way we can see the color schemes on it. Take a look at all the colors, so that way you can get a good idea of what you're buying. All right, so I went ahead and turned it on, as you can see here. You might see me once in a while just pressing a random key. That's just to keep it on because it does have a power saving mode, which is really good if you're using it wirelessly like I am right now. So yeah, let's go over these coloring modes. As you can see, I've turned off my lights. There's still quite a bit of light coming in, but even with that, you can still see a lot of color going on here. Really nice colors. It is going kind of fast because I have it set to the max. So I'll go ahead and lower that a bit. So let's start off with some kind of basics that you might need to know. So function, you need to hold that, and then when you press the key is kind of how you control stuff. So function and space will turn off all the lights. Function and space again will turn it back on. Function and escape will kind of reset it. So right here it's kind of resetting itself. All right, and now let's go ahead and show the brightness and all that. So function and up would be to brighten it. It's already at max. Function down is to decrease the brightness. As you can see, the brightness is going down until it turns off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is the max. And then you can increase and decrease the speed of the effect with function left to decrease, function right to increase. So I'll go ahead and increase it to the max. So as you can see, it's going pretty fast now. Now let's say you just want a single color. This one, as you can see, there's not really anything that kind of gives away that it would be this, but what you do is you press function and tab, and here we have an all white color. All right, so keep in mind, if you're keeping it all white, it's going to drain the battery a lot quicker. So keep that in mind. I wouldn't suggest keeping on all white unless that's really what you want. So now let's say you want to change the color specifically to a different type. So what you want to do is hold function and press minus or plus. So plus continuously will bring it to white. Minus will now bring it down to a kind of pinkish purple. We got a cyan, dark blue, a green, a yellow, an orange, a red, and then that's the last one. So if you see if I press any more, it doesn't change. And then just hit this multiple times to get back up to the white and back down. And just a real quick thing, it might be a little hard to see, but there's like a little light here, and that kind of indicates the power. So just keep that in mind as well. So let me go and put that back where I had it. So let me go ahead and switch this back to a more colorful mode. Again, you could do function and escape if you want to do that reset real quick. But let's go through the different color schemes that it can do. So to change them, you press or hold function and press page down. And just a note, you can change brightness and speed of everything when you go to like a different mode. So like here is a different mode. And I can increase the speed of that and decrease the speed of that. So as you can see now, it's going really slowly. I can decrease the brightness. I can increase the brightness. You know, you can do all that. I'm not going to do it for every single color mode because you kind of get the idea. So I'm just going to go ahead and switch between each one. So let me make sure that's maxed out. So here what we have is a pretty much when you press a button, it'll shoot out. I'm just going to increase the speed a little bit. I personally like this. It's very colorful, and every time I press it, it's like a different color combination. I guess the easiest way to tell that is by looking at escape, and you'll notice that each time a different color hits that escape button. So let's go to the next one. This one is kind of like a RGB kind of circle. I think the pivot point is like right around here. So it's kind of going in a circle. I'll go ahead and speed it up actually, so it might be a little easier to see that. And again, you can slow it down. Now this is more of like a snake pattern. Doesn't really affect it by pressing any type of button. I'll go and increase it just so you can see it at its max and at its lowest. Now this one I'm going to go and increase, but pretty much it's wiping down. So it's an RGB wiping downward from the top. Here we have kind of just a random array of colors just shooting out everywhere. And of course, slow that down and let's max it out. Now this one is kind of like bursting out from the center. Let me go ahead and max it out and put it down to its lowest. When it's at its lowest, it goes really slowly. So it's really, really smooth and really hard to tell even at some points. So here we have the next one. It's going to pretty much go across and then towards the center. And it's going to pretty much kind of like do a tick timing type of thing. And then it's going to explode a color out from that point. And I'll even speed that up so that way we can see it one more time, just a little quicker. So now you see it's timing and then bam, there it goes everywhere. Now we're going to have just a serpent going towards the center. I think this one's already maxed out. And then, of course, the bomb, just like before. And here it is at its slowest. Circles, and then there it goes. So I'll go ahead and max that out and go to the next one. So this one is pretty similar to the last one, except a little bit bigger scale. So it's like doing 3 rows at a time, slower or less of a time in the center, and then it explodes. Now we're going to have it kind of just doing a serpent pattern going downward. And then you saw it just shot back up once it reaches the end. And now this one's kind of like a comb where it's going to just kind of interweave in between each other. And as you can see, when I press, it doesn't actually do anything. So keep that in mind. Some of these aren't affected by like pressing any keys. This one is going to be wiping from the top left, top right. And I think that's already maxed out, so I'll go ahead and slow it down real quick just so you can see a little slower. And this one's just kind of like colors just everywhere. You know, you can't really change the speed because there is no speed. You can change the brightness, of course. So here is for the brightness. And this one is a breathing one now. And again, it's very colorful breathing. And here it is at its max, so you can see it a little bit better. And now, if I remember correctly, this should be breathing between each of the colors. So it's not actually breathing, it's more so cycling. And of course, at its max. And now we're getting to the ones where if you press something, it does something. So here you can see, I'll do it on the space. Every time I press it, it does a different color. So it's like if you're typing something, you can see like all these colors kind of light up. And I think you can decrease the speed so it doesn't fade away as quick. Yeah, so it doesn't fade away as quickly. And of course you can increase the speed so it goes away really quickly. So pretty much as soon as you let go, it goes away. And now this one shoots out from wherever I press. It goes out both sides. And now we're back to the first one we were at, where it's just kind of wiping across. So it has a lot of lighting modes. One thing I'm not too sure about, and you know, if you have this keyboard and you happen to know, let us know in the comments below. I'm not sure if it has the ability to kind of record certain colors to certain keys. I wouldn't be surprised if it does. I just don't happen to know based off of my current amount of use and based off of what I've read online. So yeah, if you happen to know that, let us know in the comments below, because that is some really helpful information that honestly will help a lot of people who are considering this keyboard. So yeah, again, let us know in the comments below if you happen to know that. So let's go ahead and, oh, there it did. It timed out again. So keep that in mind. You know, if it's wired, it shouldn't be timing out, but when it's wireless, it wants to save that battery for you, so you don't have to worry about charging it over and over again. So let's go ahead and talk about its use in games. So I mostly use it on Valorant, CSGO, and Call of Duty. If you know, Valorant and CSGO are a little bit more slow-paced, or at least Valorant is for sure. When you're playing something like Valorant, you know, you need to be very precise. You need to be careful on your movements. Personally, I love using this keyboard on Valorant. The keyboard that I usually use when I play PC games is just a left-sided keyboard, so it only has like these few keys. The beauty of this is it is so small, and I actually use this mostly for when I'm gaming on the go, because when I'm on the go, I like to have a full-size keyboard, just kind of like to be able to do some work where maybe the table's too small, something like that. I like to have an external keyboard like this, where it's kind of full-size but also smaller, compact. I personally had no issues playing on Valorant. My game didn't get any worse. It didn't really get any better either. I didn't expect it to, because you know, I mostly just use gaming keyboards, mechanical keyboards for every type of game I play. So yeah, I didn't really notice any issues, and I didn't see any huge improvement. You know, I mean, a couple games I played, I did do a little bit better, but that could have just been because I had easier opponents. So take it as you will. I think overall, as a mechanical keyboard, it is great. You know, I love the clickiness. I love the blue switches. I can even pull one out. Let me go ahead and unplug it though before I pull it out. So, might need to use two hands to hold it down. And there we go. You might be able to see that switch a little bit right there. You know, the nice clicky switch. Push it back on. You know, it's really easy to remove. I was able to do it with my hands on this one. However, like I said, it might be a little bit harder to remove some of these keycaps without the tool. Keep that in mind. But yeah, overall, gaming, perfect. No real issues, no lag. One thing you might be wondering is, will I lag a little bit between when I press a key and when the movement happens, since it is wireless? And the answer, at least from what my experience has been so far, is no. I have not experienced any noticeable lag. And trust me, if there was any, especially in like games like Valorant, I would probably be able to tell. But yeah, I had no issues. I tried on both Bluetooth and just the USB dongle. And like I said, I had no real issues. And I think it's really nice that it has a detachable wire and that it has these USB dongles and the Bluetooth, because again, it's easy to pack, easy to take with you. So for those of you who like to game on the go, maybe you go to a library or something to play, you know, this might be a good keyboard to get. All right, so let's go into my final pros and cons list. Pros include that it is mechanical keyboard, has blue switches, perfect size and weight, great backlight colors. Only real con I see is that it doesn't have a secondary number pad on the side here. However, I'm actually completely fine with that. Like I said, I personally use it when I travel and I don't need that secondary number pad. Most of you who are going to be using it for gaming also do not really need that extra number pad that usually comes on the side of keyboards. Having something this small and compact will be great for those of you who especially need to use it for traveling, have limited desk space, whatever it may be. I think it's just great. Plus, I love the 3 connection options, and as I've already mentioned, the color schemes are just wonderful on it. That's it for this video. Link to this product is in the description below. If you have any questions, leave a comment below as well. Make sure to like and subscribe though, you know, helps out the channel quite a bit. But yeah, thanks for watching.